perkenaan atas bacaan kali yang kedua Rang Undang-Undang Pembekalan 2023-2022 dan usul untuk merujuk Resolusi Anggaran Pembelanjaan Pembangunan bagi tahun 2023.
Okay. The question is that the Supply 2023 Bill 2022 be read a second time and the motion to refer the resolution on the development estimates 2023 be passed and referred to the Committee of Supply. Ahli-ahli yang berhormat, 3 days, that is today, tomorrow and Friday, has been set aside for members to debate on the Supply 2023 Bill 2022 and the motion to refer the resolution on development estimates 2023. Ahli-ahli yang berhormat, under Standing Order 31(8), I hereby impose 20 minutes for any member who wishes to speak today. Is there any member who wants to speak first? There's, I believe Tanjung Batu has indicated to the secretary. Silakan, yang berhormat.
Thank you, Dato' Speaker. Salam Ibu Berdiriku dan salam saudaraku sayang. Terima kasih, Dato' Speaker, for giving me opportunity to deliberate on the Supply Bill 2023 tabled by our YAB Premier Sarawak in this August House on 21st November 2022. Before I proceed, I would like to take this chance to express my heartiest congratulations to our YAB Premier of Sarawak, whose strong and smart leadership have helped again lead the GPS party to a remarkable win in the GE15. With the result of Barang constituency announced just 2 days ago, GPS managed to secure 23 seats out of the 31 seats contested in the state of Sarawak. I would also like to take this opportunity to congratulate the honorable members who have been elected to the DEWAN Rakyat. Dato' Speaker, going back to my debate on the Supply 2023 Bill 2022, I also wish to put on record my gratitude towards YAB Premier and congratulate YAB Premier for tabling the most comprehensive and biggest state budget proposed that this August House ever witnessed in its history. It's amounting to RN 11.035 billion. There is also a surplus budget of 228 million ringgit. It is also a development forecast budget with 70% on the development of Sarawak infrastructure, including rural areas. I believe this state budget proposal will be well received by the people. What is also commendable from this state budget proposal is that our YAB Premier has introduced new approaches to increase our Sarawak revenue. It is not through taxes on the rakyat, but generating new sources of revenue, such as through the sale tax on export of petroleum products, prudent investment, raw water royalty, aluminium products, coal, just to name some of them. We should take note that this budget will be the foundation for Sarawak's future, where our YAB Premier is committed in ensuring various initiatives are taken seriously so that Sarawak is secure financially. Therefore, with the Sarawak Sovereign Wealth Future Fund, which was passed yesterday, and with this comprehensive state budget proposal, I foresee Sarawak work towards a path where hopefully we can be more financially independent in the future. I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate YAB Premier for once again, under his far-sighted leadership, the Sarawak Sovereign Wealth Future Fund Board Bill has successfully been passed. The Sarawak Sovereign Wealth Future Fund is a historical bill for Sarawak, and in fact, it is the first that such bill is introduced in Malaysia. Our Premier is committed to ensure that our Sarawak younger generations will enjoy a stable income where the long-term forced savings of Sarawak government will generate returns to cater for the future needs of Sarawak. Congratulations again, YAB Premier, for the great vision. Dato' Speaker, the state budget proposal has put emphasis on the urban renewal program where affordable housing will be provided. I would like to voice out on behalf of the people from my kawasan N68 Tanjung Batu, where affordable houses are insufficient to cater to the growing population in Bintulu. Although the Cepat Jaya development has been implemented, hopefully more development programs as such can be continued. This is to ensure that 2023 vision of Sarawak can be achieved in a shorter time. YAB Dato' Speaker, with the bold step taken in this state budget proposal to develop human capital by enhancing the quality of education so that our children, who are the future leaders and caretakers of Sarawak, can reach their full potential. I applaud this noble move because education is something that we should invest heavily for the future of Sarawak. It is noted in the budget that an international school will be opened in Bintulu from 2025 onwards. I would like to thank this initiative for considering Bintulu their need for an international school. With the completion of the international school, it will come in line with the increasing number of mega projects that will be approved in Bintulu in future. It could cater for the children of the foreign investor who will be more than willing to move their family with them to Bintulu. Plus, with the establishment of new learning institutions and resource center in Bintulu, new job opportunities will be created for the qualified educators who face difficulties in applying as teachers or tutors in some local schools and institutions for some reason. YB Dato' Speaker, the state budget proposal also caters and focuses on enhancing the culture, sports, and youth development. I applaud this brilliant move which emphasizes for the sports and youth development, in particular for the development and upgrading of sport facilities. I hope that the one and only existing public sport facility in Bintulu, which is the indoor and outdoor stadium of Bintulu, can be given attention for upgrading and refurbishing through the state budget 2023. The youth of Bintulu have approached me with the frustration that even since the passing of the pandemic, the youth have no place to organize sport activities. There are a lot of talented youth in sports in Bintulu. For example, the freebie team, who became champion in the recent Thailand International Freebie Tournament. However, they can't use the public facilities to do their training. Instead, they have to spend money to rent other private facilities to train. Therefore, I look forward that this state budget proposal, which allocated Rm 47 million for sport facility, will benefit the youth of Bintulu as well as implementing various sport development programs for the youth of Bintulu. YB Dato' Speaker, in conclusion, the state budget proposal is a comprehensive budget which will bring prosperity towards the future of our beloved Sarawak. Let us not be easily swayed by the incitement that is being thrown around in the social medias. We focus on our goal and persistently we work towards it until we succeed. Result will be proof that the GPS party led by our YFB Premier walks the talk. Before ending the speech, I have two special panduns to present. Janji diberi tanpa disuruh, dibawa bersama atas bendera perjuangan terbesar juga menyuruh rakyat Sarawak hidup sejahtera. Number two, pemanggan janji rakyat di depan, rakyat sudah berasa bosong. This is in Hokkien, tidak syok. Janji pembangkang tidak harapan, umpama bunyi ting yang kosong. With that, I would like to record my full support on the Supply Bill 2023. Thank you.
Thank you, Yang Berhormat Tanjung Batu. May I call upon Yang Berhormat Ketibas, please.
Yang Berhormat Dato' Speaker, thank you for allowing me to participate in this debate. During the last sittings, I requested to expedite the construction of infrastructures which are basic need of life and a prerequisite of development, that is the construction of 156 kilometer roads and few bridges connecting 88 settlements in Dun and 62 Katibas. The GPS government has responded. Thank you, Yang Amat Berhormat Premier Sarawak, for the prompt response by approving 70 million for 7-kilometer road to Sungai Bangkit. Also approving another 35 million for a cable stay bridge crossing Sungai Bangkit at Sungai Katibas. Both road and bridge cost 105 million. This is new milestone and infrastructure bill to be a catalyst of development in rural areas in N62 Katibas. The construction and completion of the said road and bridge not only enable us to unlock our idle NCR land, but to add value with better commercialization of farming, thus assisting us to eradicate poverty in rural areas. I continue to request the government for the completion of the remaining Sungai Bangkit road, that is another length of 30 kilometers, which involve 11 settlements. I continue also to request the government to set aside sufficient funds for the construction of another length 149 kilometer roads in Sungai Musah, Sungai Iran, Sungai Song, Sungai Tekalit, Sungai Lijau, Sungai Manap, and Sungai Engkuah in Dun N62 Katibas. This development in infrastructure and facilities in rural areas are parts of GPS government efforts to improve people's well-being. It will facilitate economic transformation and to diversify revenue generation to drive rural socio-economy. Thank you also Yang Amat Berhormat Premier Sarawak for the allocation to upgrade our Song Many Stadium and respond to N62 Katibas request to repair, maintain and upgrade the existing recreational facility, especially for the youth in Katibas. The people of Katibas welcome the 2023 state budget, a development-oriented budget and rural-focused budget with 4.54 billion or 60% out of the whole budget of 7.506 billion for development of rural areas. I continue to request for more assistance for DUN 62 Katibas to provide a concerted efforts and assistance for socio-economic development to uplift Song from a label as the poorest district in Malaysia according to the latest DOSM 2009 with an average income of 3,443 compared to Malaysia average income of 7,900 or Sarawak with average income of 5,959. I request the industrial development to be expedited to help to reduce our unemployment and socio-economic status. I suggest the government to build light industrial areas to support our local entrepreneurs. This will greatly improve our socio-economic development in the kawasan. As part of Sarawak digitalization, I continue to request the setting up of a Song Center for Excellence or something like Centex with customized curriculum to suit the needs to support our local farmers and to improve our economy. This center will provide knowledge and skill as part of our effort in transforming Sarawak into a competitive economy as shown in our strategic thrust number 4. Song Center for Excellence also create a new platform that develop entrepreneurs among the local community. It will be fitted with high-speed internet connectivity, which caters for knowledge and product ideation, current news about technology, training, innovation, startup, product review, business registration services, and business marketing. It also acts as community reference center to prototype their project before entering into actual production and markets. It requires about 100 acres of land, which may have an initial cost between 5 to 10 million. I respectfully request Centex assistance and its curriculum to suit the local socio-economic needs for the people of Katibas. Last week, I launched SEDC Pusat Incubator dan Bimbingan Usahawan PIBU. As an extension of this service, I request SEDC to set up SEDC shop lot or commercial lot in the kawasan. This is to accommodate once our entrepreneur graduated from the 3 years tenants in PIBU, they will have the place to continue with their business. I like to highlight in this August House the area for special attention, especially to the inland fisheries sector. N62 Katibas is famous for its freshwater fish, such as purau, tengadak, labang, and many more. This sector is worth our attention as fishing is not uncommon for the people of Katibas, and it also can contribute to our socio-economic development. I request as such relevant ministries such as MPICOT to set up hatchery and processing facilities in this sector. I would also propose the expansion of the coverage and quality of our telecommunication towers, internet services, electricity supply, and water supply. With regard to telecommunication towers, There are 19 towers in Dun Katibas by MCMC and SDEC. To date, there are only 3 towers already completed, but they are still yet to be commissioned. As such, I urge the tower operator, MCMC or SDEC, to expedite the commissioning of the said towers. As to the internet services, the internet line is very weak in the kawasan, as it is only operated by Saluran and Jendela, or a community Wi-Fi. I urge the government through SMA and SDEC to expedite the installation and commissioning of Sarawak Rural Broadband Network and smart towers to benefit our rural people. As the saying goes, if the government cannot connect us with road for time being, connect us with the internet. With regard to electricity, I would like to thank the Ministry of Utility for lighting up the rural areas with SARES and grid line. To date, we have achieved about 80% installation. However, there is a need to replace SARES installation with grid supply, covering about 32 kilometers from Songtown to Sungai Katibas up to Nangalian and its tributaries. As for water, there's a need to lay a water pipe about 45 kilometer piping reticulation by ministry concerned to house in the areas that is already accessed by road. With regard to government rural project, I propose the government to revise the variation of price or schedule of rate for rural project in order to surrogate the escalation of price of material and transportation for the project we have in the rural areas. This is to provide better estimate for project budget, as well as to reduce the incidence of project circuit due to low or no profit margin involved in the project. Dun Katibas is endowed with natural beauty of rivers, mountains, virgin forests, apart from having a wide range of social, cultural heritage. I propose there will be no issuance of future logging license in our kawasan. This is part of our effort to reduce to conserve our natural environment. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank Land and Survey Department in their effort to conduct perimeter survey and to issue title to the landowners in the kawasan. I propose that this exercise to be continued expeditiously to avoid future dispute on our land. The people of N62 Katibas would also like to thank Yang Amat Berhormat Premier Sarawak for the RTP project approved to facilitate the development in rural areas. I would like to suggest that our GPS government to increase further our allocation for RTP due to current increase in cost and to speed up the transformation of our rural areas. In view of their ever-changing burden, responsibility, and challenges in rural areas, I would also suggest and request for the increase of allowance for our community leaders from the current rate to an appropriate rate according to the current situation. Due to an ever-changing increase also in the population and demand for a better health care, I would also request that our clinic kesihatan Song to be upgraded to a polyclinic standard or a hospital and to be equipped with better facilities with more doctors. I would also propose for UNIFOR to continue to provide funding for our churches, and at the same time, government must also provide for the needs of our masjid and surau in our Dun Katibas. Last and equally important, I would like to request the government to earmark Song District as an affirmative action area to speed up our overall development. Sarawak will not be developed until Dun Katibas is developed. Oh, Sarawak nak mancang, nanti Katibas nak mancang. Sehari kita lambat bertindak, seharilah kita tambah penderitaan rakyat. Sehari kita lambat tanam musangking, seharilah musangking itu lambat berbuah. We must act together faster, and most importantly, GPS will act together. With that, I hereby beg to support the budget 2023. Yang berhormat Speaker, sekian terima kasih.
Terima kasih Yang Berhormat Ketibas. Next, I would like to call Yang Berhormat Kota Sentosa to give his debate speech, please.
Thank you, Datuk Speaker. I rise to support Supply Bill 2022, which is a far-sighted, pragmatic and proactive budget, which seeks to propel Sarawak towards an advanced and fully functioning digital economy with sustainable development, very much still in focus. This budget clearly reflects the Sarawak GPS government's demonstration of its commitment of Sarawak first priorities of strengthening Sarawak's multiracial and multi-religious demography towards a fairer, more sustainable and more inclusive society. This is an excellent budget. Congratulations to our Premier, the Honourable Member from Gedong and his Ministry for putting together this comprehensive budget 2023 that is focused on addressing the needs of every Sarawakian. Datuk Speaker, this budget is committed to rural development, upgrading basic services, improving the quality of education, supporting businesses and creating jobs where the natural environment continues to be protected and where every Sarawakian feels included, recognized and respected in the society that they live in. Datuk Speaker, education of our youth is critical for the future development of Sarawak. In this regard, the budget continues to invest heavily in education. The implementation and continued implementation of various initiatives such as teaching of mathematics and science in English is indeed refreshing and progressive. Sarawak is the only state in Malaysia to fully recognize Unified Examination Certificate UEC and the teaching of science and mathematics in English. Kudos to the Sarawak GPS government for the bold step to recognize UEC and continue to improve the standard of English and provide a strong foundation to our youth to compete globally. The big allocation in budget 2023 for the various education-related policy initiatives are indeed far-sighted. Datuk Speaker, climate change continues to be a concern for all Sarawakians. In this regard, the Sarawak government continues to be mindful of its social responsibilities to safeguard our environment, maintain its quality, and strengthen its resilience against climate change. The allocation of 30 million under Phase 2 of Sarawak Reef Ball project is reflective of Sarawak's continued commitment to mitigate climate change by protecting our marine ecosystem and resources in our coastal areas. The Reef Balls deployment project will definitely contribute to the improvement of our local communities' livelihood, marine diversity conservation, environmental protection, and fisheries resources enhancement. Datuk Speaker, Sarawak still has a lot of catching up in infrastructure development. Therefore, the allocation of 1.12 billion under this budget to intensify infrastructure development from roads and utilities to accelerate economic growth is indeed far-sighted. In my constituency of Kota Sentosa, there are still flash flooding problems affecting residents. Two examples of flash flood problems facing residents are at Borneo Gardens off Jalan Lapangan Terbang and Taman Happy Valley off Jalan Tun Juga. In this regard, I appeal to the Sarawak government for development funds to be allocated to resolve the flash flooding problem faced by residents at Borneo Garden and Taman Happy Valley. Dato' Speaker, due to the increasing traffic along Jalan Setakan, Jalan Liu Sanpang, and Jalan Sungai Papang, I also appeal to the Sarawak government to conduct a comprehensive traffic study and provide an allocation to upgrade the roads mentioned to facilitate the reduction of traffic congestion during peak hours. The allocation of 65 million in budget 2023 for developing industrial estates will go a long way towards creating business opportunities and high-paying jobs and make the living standards of ordinary Sarawakians higher. The various initiatives of provision of soft loan, interest subsidy, financial assistance for startups, product development capacity building, e-commerce, and promotion and marketing will definitely shore up confidence and attract more investments from both local and foreign investors. Dato' Speaker, one of the most basic human needs is housing. Therefore, it is pertinent to ensure that every Sarawakian have adequate access to affordable housing. The allocation of 52 million in budget 2023 for the implementation of 21 affordable housing projects by Housing Development Corporation is indeed commendable. In this regard, I would appeal to the Housing Ministry to consider implementing one low-cost plus housing scheme and one affordable housing scheme, both integrated with recreational facilities in my constituency of N12 Kota Sentosa due to its location where there are still pockets of state land. Dato' Speaker, according to a report by the Economic Planning Unit under the Sarawak Premier's Department, and based on data from the National Property Information Centre, NAPIC, house prices are higher than most other states in Malaysia. Sarawak's average house price in 2021 was 484,592. If we follow the standards set by United Nations and the World Bank, houses in Sarawak are severely unaffordable. Dato' Speaker, one of the contributing factors of why house prices are expensive in Sarawak is because of the high price of cement. Currently, there is only one sole cement supplier and manufacturer in Sarawak. The time is appropriate to open up for other players to participate in the supply and manufacture of cement. Opening up Sarawak to other players would ensure a consistent supply of cement and ensure sufficient capacity to meet Sarawak's increasing demand from the growing construction activities. More players in the supply and manufacturing of cement in Sarawak will result in healthy competition and invariably result in competitive prices of cement. I therefore call upon the Sarawak government to terminate the monopoly on the manufacture and supply of cement and open up to other manufacturers and suppliers. Dato' Speaker, there is a budget allocation of 87 million for the development and upgrading of tourism products and facilities. Tourism has proven to be an effective sector for economic growth. As such, I would appeal to the government through SEDC to speed up the rehabilitation of Staba Quarry site and develop the areas surrounding the quarry into a recreational park which has potential to draw visitors to Kota Sentosa and thereby increase business activities in Kota Sentosa and surrounding areas. Dato' Speaker, lastly, it would not be presumptuous for me to say that the Sarawak's best days are ahead of it. This budget doesn't just prove that Sarawak's future is bright, but it delivers on it too. This budget addresses the areas of the most need, saving and investing for our future generations through the establishment of the Sarawak Sovereign Wealth Future Fund, an honest budget that delivers good jobs, better service, and a better future. Sarawak first. Datuk Speaker, in conclusion, I fully support the Supply Bill 2022. Thank you.
Thank you, Yang Berhormat Ketua Sentosa. I have in my list, the next one will be Yang Berhormat Jepar, followed by Maradong, Krian, and Pending, in that order as I receive notices of. May I call upon Yang Berhormat Jepar, please. Jepar. 42. Yeah.
Thank you, Yang Berhormat Datuk Seri Speaker. Saya mulakan dengan menyatakan sokongan saya terhadap rang undang-undang perbekalan 2023 dan usul untuk merujuk resolusi anggaran pembelanjaan pembangunan bagi tahun 2023. Datuk Seri Speaker, belanjawan bagi tahun 2023 telah dibentang oleh Yang Amat Berhormat Premier. Secara menyeluruh, belanjawan ini merupakan dokumen yang amat strategik, komprehensif dan bersepadu untuk panduan bagi memacu dan membangun negeri Sarawak. Tidak dapat dinafikan bahawa keadaan sosioekonomi bukan sahaja di bumi kenyala atau negara, akan tapi di seluruh dunia adalah berisiko tinggi dan mencabar. Is high risk economy and is challenging. Berhadapan dengan prospek kemeslesatan ekonomi, we are facing depression, inflasi tinggi, perubahan iklim yang tidak menentu, hujan berlebihan, angin dan taufan di setengah tempat, panas dan kering kontang di setengah tempat yang lain. Harga bahan api yang melambung, kekurangan makanan terutama di negara miskin, serta peperangan di Ukraine yang menambah lagi ketegangan geopolitik dan pelbagai masalah sosial dan politik. Bagi kita di Sarawak, masalah yang kita hadapi boleh kita tangani sebaiknya jika kita terus bersatu padu. Ini disebutkan oleh Yang Amat Berhormat. We must remain united. Without unity, very little can be achieved. There are many signs that we in Sarawak are essentially a united and harmonious society. Let us keep it that way. Datuk Seri Speaker, let me touch on a few specific points in the budget. Firstly, the theme of the budget, Sarawak First, towards an inclusive, prosperous and harmonious society. It is noble in intent for all Sarawakians. Ianya berhasrat murni untuk semua. It is worth pursuing by all. Ia layak untuk didukung oleh semua pihak dan langkah-langkah untuk mencapai hasrat ini terkandung bersama. The measures are included in order to achieve the noble intent. The growth rate for year 2020 is expected to be 5 to 6.5%. This is commendable under the circumstances. In the year 2023 is projected to be 5 to 6%, and let us work together to achieve this. But from what we read, the global economic conditions will be more challenging next year. With respect to revenue, is being revised upward. Now, we have surplus budget. One area that I like to touch is employment or the labor market. Unemployment rate is projected to be in the region of 3 to 3.5%. The labor market under the current economic circumstances is not overly conducive to expanding employment. But let us pray that unemployment remains under control. The human cost of unemployment is high. It affects the individual, it affects the family, it affects the community, and even the economy itself. Unemployment, for one, can cause demand to shrink, thus affecting efforts to stimulate the economy. Sarawakians must feel proud and can rightly derive some confidence that the state is well managed by the government of the day. I repeat, Sarawakians must feel proud and can rightly derive some confidence that the state is well managed by the government of the day. The government is also creating the Sarawak Sovereign Future Fund, Wealth Fund. This is something that ought to be welcomed by all. Definitely, I for one consider this a wise and responsible move. I've dreamed of it. I wish it to happen. It's happening. We are saving for the future, save for the future, for the rainy days, as our elders always said. At least that's what my grandmother told me. The wisdom is still relevant. We wish this well-intentioned Sarawak Sovereign Wealth Fund, Future Wealth Fund success. While we are on the subject of the budget, there is an area that should be addressed. It's not new. In my days as civil servant, I've argued with federal officers. I have co-chaired a meeting with federal counterpart at ministerial level. We do not get enough. It is a recurrent problem. Year in and year out, the allocation to Sarawak has been miserly small. Repeat, miserly small compared to our need, our sheer size, almost as large as Menanjung, and our considerable contribution to the federal corpus. We cannot allow this to happen, and continue. Not anymore. It is bad for nation building and bad for national integrity. What is needed is fair allocation, fairness. We are not begging. We are not begging. We are asking for what is fair to Sarawak and Sarawakian assimilation. Let there be positive change fast. I would like to say this. The normal in any federation is this. The money comes from Sarawak, a big amount of it should be spent and allocated to Sarawak. Number two, the principle is need. We need it. But these two principles have not been honored. So, with this, I said again, we need a change. And Dato' Sri Speaker, I support the bill. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Yang Berhormat Jepak. May I call upon Yang Berhormat Maradong, please.
Thank you, Dato' Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to take part in the debate on supply 2023 Bill 2022 that was tabled by Yang Amat Berhormat Premier Sarawak on 21st November 2022. Sarawak is projected to collect revenue of Ringgit Malaysia 11.035 billion for year 2023, the highest ever revenue projected thus far, which reflect the relative achievement in boosting the state coffer to enable the Sarawak government to table yet another development-biased and people-centric budget in 6 consecutive years. A sum of Ringgit Malaysia 10.797 billion is budgeted for 2023, and out of this, Ringgit Malaysia 3.997 billion is for operating expenses, while a sum of Ringgit Malaysia 6.8 billion, which is about 63% of the total budget, is for development expenditure. Out of the total development expenditure, 60% or Ringgit Malaysia 4.54 billion will be for development in rural areas. This is a holistic budget catered for people from all walks of life and cover a wide range of strategic trusts and initiatives, from creating employment and business opportunities, long house loan and affordable housing scheme, electricity and water supply coverage, development of agro-park and permanent food production zone, enhancing quality education and human capital, promoting environmental sustainability and wildlife protection, endowment fund and death compassionate assistance, and many, many more. Thank you and well done, Yang Amat Berhormat Premier. Dato' Speaker, please allow me to go into some local issues that have been dear to the people's heart of my constituency. Number one, proposed hemodialysis center in Sungai Dulai, Bintangor. In view of the long waiting list for kidney patients to undergo hemodialysis in Sarike Division, Persatuan Masyarakat Sungai Dulai, in collaboration with Kidney Foundation Malaysia, have come up with the idea of setting up a hemodialysis center in Sungai Dulai, Bintangor, to alleviate the critical situation that Sarike Hospital just cannot cope. The proposed land and necessary subdivision application has been approved by relevant authority, and the running of the said hemodialysis center will be self-sustaining once it is completed. Since it is a high-impact project that will benefit many people in and around Meradong, I humbly appeal to Yang Berhormat Premier to consider allocating a project rakyat amounting to ringgit Malaysia 5.5 million so that the said project can be implemented as soon as possible. Number two, proposed package CR1 Central Region for Sarawak Water Supply Grid Program Stress Area in Meradong. The delay in the contractor taking possession of the above site due to Pembono construction has resulted in a substantial delay in completion of the project. The people of Meradong have been anxiously waiting for the project to be completed so that they can enjoy clean water supply with better water pressure, especially so for residents in Sungai Lemayong longhouses that did not enjoy treated water supply at all. Therefore, I would like to urge JBAB to monitor the situation closely and try to connect the water supply to Sungai Lemayong area earliest possible. At the same time, as I was told, sufficient water supply to my constituency depends very much on the proposed upgrading and extension of biome treatment plant in Sarike. And I believe that project is a bit behind schedule. So again, I would like to appeal to agency concerned to monitor the said project closely to ensure it can get completed as soon as possible. The other speaker, number three, is RTP projects. For the information of this August House, this high-impact program, which is the brainchild of the late Dr. Nang and continued by Yang Amat Berhormat Premier when he took over the helm in 2017, has suffered a bit of drawback as far as implementation of project is concerned. This is due mainly to the lack of manpower of implementing agencies concerned. For example, all JKR engineers in Sarike Division has been redeployed to JKR Central Region Office in Cebu, and this has affected the swift implementation of RTP projects in Meradong. I would therefore like to urge Sarawak government to take steps to overcome this particular issue. Also, I'd like to take this opportunity to urge the authorities concerned to look into the process of appointing the contractors to ensure quality and fast implementation of projects at all times. Number 4, proposed construction of 55 units Rumah Spectra Permata at Kampong, Malaysia. Kampong, Malaysia is a multi-racial resettlement scheme near Jambatan Merah, Meradong. Up till now, there are no low or medium cost housing in Dum Meradong, and I would like to appeal to Yang Amat Berhormat to approve a project rakyat for the construction of the said housing scheme. If this project can take off, it will benefit people of various races in Meradong. Number 5, government quarters. As the number of government servants increases, many of the existing government quarters are getting run down. Therefore, it is vital that sizable amount of allocation be made available by the government to improve or renovate the government quarters, or even propose to construct new government quarters in Meradong, so as to provide comfortable lodging facilities for our government servants. Dr. Speaker, GPS menang jahit senang is the propaganda we can be seen everywhere in the just concluded GE15. In the end, it did turn out that he is senang because they invited him to form the new government. Of course, the scenario has changed, and we need to wait just a bit longer to see who is going to be the government. This just goes to show how low can DAP stoop just to continue their dream of becoming the government of the day. Many a time, they can heavily criticize and tarnish their political enemies, but end up embracing and purify them just so that they can achieve their goals. That is why there is a joke going around saying the principles of DAP is no principle at all. Dr. Speaker, as Christmas is just around the corner and Chinese New Year not long after that, please allow me to say Merry Christmas to all my Christian friends and Happy Chinese New Year of the Rabbit for all my Chinese friends. With the above words, I would like to support the Supply 2023 Bill 2022. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Yang Berhormat Meradong. I call upon Yang Berhormat Krian, please.
Terima kasih Yang Berhormat Datuk Speaker kerana memberi saya peluang untuk mengambil bahagian dalam membahaskan rang Undang-Undang Perbekalan 2023 yang telah dibentangkan oleh Yang Amat Berhormat Premier pada 21 November 2022. Salam sejahtera, salam Sarawakku sayang pada semua. Saya merasa amat bersyukur kepada Yang Maha Esa kerana telah memberkatkan saya supaya berada di sini dan berpeluang untuk mengambil bahagian dalam perbahasan berkenaan bajet Negeri Sarawak 2023 dalam Dewan Yang Mulia ini buat julung kali pada hari ini. Dengan kesempatan ini juga saya mengucapkan syabas dan tahniah kepada Yang Amat Berhormat Premier kerana telah memimpin Gabungan Parti Sarawak untuk memperolehi kejayaan besar dengan memenangi 23 daripada 31 kerusi Parlimen yang ditandingi pada PRU 15 baru-baru ini. Ini membuktikan kepimpinan Yang Amat Berhormat Premier sangat disenangi dan mampu untuk menghimpunkan rakyat Sarawak di bawah satu platform politik yang kukuh dan dinamik untuk memacu Sarawak ke arah pembangunan dan yang lebih mampan dan maju menjelang 2030. Sarawak Economic Outlook 2020-2021. Datuk Speaker, the year 2020-2021 had been a very challenging year for Malaysia, Sarawak with no exception. The pandemic COVID-19 had almost crippled the economy in most countries around the globe. For 2 years, the pandemic had made most countries grappling with all the uncertainties it has brought on economic worldwide. Luckily for Sarawak, we managed to recover gradually, and by 2021, we were able to record a positive growth of 2.9% compared to negative 6.8% in 2020. This had put Sarawak among the top 6 contributors to Malaysia's overall GDP growth in 2021. In 2022, Sarawak economy is expected to grow between 5.5% to 6.5%. Among the contributing factors for the state rapid economic recovery is the various incentives and assistance that had been given out by the state government under the BKSS 1.0 to BKSS 9.0, where to date RM6.7 billion had been spent in the form of various assistance and incentives. The ability on the part of the state government to come out with such a huge sum of money is a clear proof and indication that the state financial position is strong, that is contrary to the claim that the state will go bankrupt in 3 years. In 3 years. Syabas dan tahniah kepada Yang Amat Berhormat Premier serta mereka-mereka yang terlibat secara langsung maupun tidak langsung dalam menguruskan kewangan negeri Sarawak. Sarawak 2023 Budget. Datuk Speaker, on 21st November 2022, Yang Amat Berhormat Premier had presented the 2023 State Budget in the sum of 10.79 billion. The budget, which themed Sarawak First towards an inclusive, prosperous and harmonious society, is a people-centric budget with 5 main principles and 11 strategic thrusts. Based on the above theme, principles and strategic thrusts, it is the wish and aspiration of each and every Sarawakian to have a fair share of the budget allocation to ensure a more balanced and equitable prosperity to every part of Sarawak, include Krian. We in Krian had been left behind in terms of mainstream development since 2011, and we have a lot of catching ups to be made. In the last PRN in December 2021, we managed to deliver Krian seat to GPS, and it is my humble request that the people of Krian deserve to be rewarded handsomely in terms of development allocation. Next, I would like to touch on some of the issues, development issues that are affecting my kawasan. Firstly, infrastructure development, that is roads and bridges. Dato' Speaker, even though most part of Krian are connected by road, there are still many roads that need to be upgraded. Namely, number 1, Jalan Ulu Subetan, leading to 4 longhouses and 1 sekolah rendah, need to be upgraded because the last time it was built in the 90s. Number 2, Jalan Ulu Awek, which is left with about 7 kilometers to be tahsil. Number 3, Jalan Mudung Kop Ibus, Nanga Ibus, leading to 3 longhouses. Number 4, replacement of suspension bridge at Rumah Pundul, Tanjung to SK Lubuk Payang, Awek. Number 5, construction of I-beam bridge at Sungai Isu, Nangamaras, Pilai area. Number 6, replacement of few bridges along feeder road in Awek, Brayang, Kabo, Ulu Krian and Ulu Gelenjang area. Number 7, repair of the dilapidated schools. Therefore, I would request for funds to be made available to carry out the above proposed project in the near future. Secondly, utilities that includes water, electricity and telecommunication. Treated water supply. Firstly, 4 buah rumah panjang di Ulu Gelenjang, which are now still left without any treated water supply. Secondly, 4 buah rumah panjang dan sebuah sekolah rendah di Ulu Subetan, also left without treated water supply. C, 15 rumah panjang dan sebuah sekolah rendah di kawasan Brayang dan Mudung dan Lepang Ujan, Ulu Sebelah. So these are the 3 main areas that are yet to be supplied with a treated water supply from Jibab. Secondly, electricity. In 2021, Dato' Speaker, there are 2 longhouses being gutted by fire in Krian, which are partly due to the problem in wiring system, and secondly, due to the overloading of electricity use due to the old system whereby the supply is based on single phase. So we would like to change it into 3-phase system. And of course, we need some areas need solar, api solar untuk menerangi jalan-jalan di beberapa buah kampung dan rumah panjang di kawasan Krian. Thirdly, telecommunication tower. Untuk menambahkan bilangan tower di beberapa tempat di kawasan Krian. Kedua, untuk membekalkan peralatan di beberapa tower yang sudah didirikan tetapi belum dibekalkan dengan peralatan pemancar sehingga kini. Dan ketiga, pemasangan dan penyediaan perkhidmatan internet melalui MySRBN di beberapa kawasan termasuk sekolah di kawasan Krian. Yang ketiga, on social development. First, under Longhouse Loan Scheme, in 2022 there are 3 longhouses loan scheme being approved, and we are receiving application for such a scheme now and then, which we have submitted to HDC for consideration. These loan facilities are very useful, especially among those who want to construct a new house or long house. Therefore, I hope that many more long houses loan scheme will be considered in Krian in 2023. Apart from that, repair of longhouses under PPRMS will also continue to be done in 2023. Secondly, sport and recreational facilities. Seratok, especially Krian, need more and proper sports and recreational facilities like parks, sports stadium, football fields, whereby our youth can pass their time and can divert them from doing unhealthy activities. Therefore, I would propose to have one mini sport complex at the new growth center at daerah kecil Nangabudu, Ulu Krian. Thirdly, on tourism. Dato' Speaker, one area which is given emphasis in the state budget is tourism. For Krian, I would like to propose the following programs and events to be carried out in 2023. There is Pesta Babas Mali, Sungai Brangan, Seratok. And secondly, Pesta Nangabudu or Ulu Krian Mountain Bike Challenge 2023. Fourthly, on education. Dato' Speaker, under the Strategic Trust 5, i.e. Developing Human Capital, Yang Amat Berhormat Premier puts emphasis on education as a critical element in human capital development for Sarawak. It is therefore always my dream to see that rural children will excel in their study like their urban or city counterpart. I had visited a few schools and it is really sad to see the condition of the classroom, the hostel, the teachers' quarters, and also the DEWAN. Therefore, I urge the relevant agencies to look into ways and means how the state government can assist to improve the situation so that these young children can also enjoy better learning facilities and eventually able to excel in their studies. So far until this year, out of 28 schools in Krian, only 4 schools had been approved under the project 1 billion Sekolah Daif and another 2 under RMK 12. Di samping itu, untuk memastikan belia-belia kita, terutamanya bagi mereka yang tidak berminat untuk menyambung ke peringkat yang lebih tinggi, saya memohon dan mencadangkan sebuah institusi atau pusat latihan teknikal dibina di Seratok, terutama sekali di Krian untuk menyediakan peluang latihan teknikal kepada golongan belia-belia ini. Yang keempat, pembangunan ekonomi. Firstly, the agriculture sector. Agriculture remains the most popular economic activities among the people of Krian. They are paper planters, oil palm smallholders, and rubber tappers. One of the biggest problems faced by the farmers is the fall in the price of commodities like paper and rubber, and of course the rising price of farm inputs like fertilizer and pesticide. Therefore, I would like to request for some allocation under the alternative funding to assist farmers to mitigate the high cost of production. Allocation are also needed to construct new roads and repair of the existing Jalan Ladang in Krian area. Secondly, mini industrial estate. Dato' Speaker, under Strategic Trust 3, i.e. promoting investment and enterprises development, Yang Amat Berhormat Premier also puts emphasis on the needs to set up more local industries and enterprise in order to diversify our local economy. This definitely will help to boost investment, create jobs, and generate income for our people. Towards this ends, therefore, I request for a mini industrial estate to be built in Seratok. With this, Seratok will have a proper plan to ease the problem of over-congestion and indiscriminate opening and operating of workshops in the town centre. With this mini industrial estate in place, we can relocate them to a centralized zone where they can be properly managed and regulated. So lastly, in conclusion, Dato' Speaker, the 2023 state budget, which was tabled by Yang Amat Berhormat Premier on the 21st November 2022, is a comprehensive people-centric budget focusing on the transformation of the rural sector. Bagi saya ini merupakan satu penghargaan dan cara kerajaan kita berterima kasih kepada rakyat Sarawak atas sokongan dan kesepaduan yang telah ditunjukkan kepada kerajaan sepanjang tempoh pandemik COVID-19 iaitu 2020 hingga 2021. COVID-19 has tested the strength and unity of Sarawak people, be it politically, economically and socially. We have fought and struggled together and we had succeeded. We managed to place ourselves on the road to recovery faster than we expected. Kejayaan ini telah terbukti apabila kita mampu untuk menyediakan satu bajet yang besar, yaitu RM10.797 bilion untuk memacu negeri Sarawak ke arah fasa pembangunan pasca COVID yang lebih mampan dan tersusun seperti yang telah digariskan di dalam Post-COVID Development Strategy, yaitu PCDS 2030. Sekali lagi syabas dan tahniah kepada Yang Amat Berhormat Premier atas pembentangan satu bajet yang besar rakyat ini. Maka dengan ini, Yang Berhormat Datuk Speaker, saya menyokong rang undang-undang perbekalan 2023. Terima kasih.
Yang Berhormat Kurian, terima kasih. I call Yang Berhormat Pending, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Right Honourable Member for the Young YAB Premier has always claimed that Sarawak is one of the richest states in Malaysia, having the most natural resources in oil and gas, gold, timber, land, coal, oil palm plantation, sales tax, name it, we almost have it all. In his budget speech, he said that the state is projected to collect a revenue of 11.035 billion for year 2023, the highest ever revenue. So Sarawak is rich. The Premier had also told Sarawakians not to worry about money, as he knows how to look for money. Despite the state being so rich, the people remain poor, and we are the third poorest state in Malaysia. Since money is not an issue for the state should do more for the people, as many of them are still struggling, with many staying in the interior with no basic amenities. I suggest one of the welfare schemes which the state can afford to provide to its people is by giving them free electricity. To ask for free basic amenities like electricity is not a far-fetched request. Sarawak is blessed with high rainfall and abundance of rivers. Furthermore, we have built many dams to generate power. We have Batang Ai Dam, Bakun Dam, Murun Dam, and Balai Dam, which is expected to be commissioned by 2027. We have too a hydroelectric plant, thermal energy from a coal-fired power plant at Kampong Gobel, Sejingkat, Muka Power Plant, Bintulu Combined Cycle Plant, and Balingan Power Plant, just to name a few. Yang Amat Berhormat Premier had said so many times in the past that through its state-owned power utility company, Sarawak Energy Berhad is also eyeing the potential sale of additional electricity to our neighbour, Indonesia. Since Sarawak is rich and the state can afford to sell electricity to other countries, there is no reason not to allow Sarawakians from enjoying free electricity. The country, Qatar, provides free electricity and water to its people. Even though it is one of the richest countries in the world, we are similar to Qatar in many ways. They gained independence in 1971. We joined to form Malaysia in 1963. They too have rich natural resources just like Sarawak. I read that the people, Qatar, in Qatar are far richer and their average salary is 100,000 euro annually, and they do not have to contribute retirement benefits. Whereas for Sarawak, our average household income per month is only 4,000 ringgit Malaysia, which is roughly 8 times less than the income of Qatar people. Qatar records the highest level of annual GDP per capita in the world, and the majority of the people staying in Qatar are immigrants, while only 15% of the people there are natives. Their healthcare is also free. My take is, if Qatar can do it, why can't Sarawak? This is all about managing our resources well and sharing the wealth appropriately, not reserve them for few elites who are closely connected politically. It is only fair that the rich resources are shared among Sarawakians to lighten their burden. The state has full autonomy to decide on electricity matter. I believe if the state government has the political will to provide free electricity to Sarawakians, it can become a reality just by a stroke of a pen. I hope that the Sarawak government will take up this proposal seriously. Mr. Speaker, in January 2020, there were 3 hydrogen buses launched for a trial run in Kuching for data collection in preparation for future public transportation, including the proposed adoption of hydrogen power feeder buses for LRT system. These hydrogen fuel cell feeder buses are used to complement the LRT project by providing the connectivity services to the LRT stations. To do so, there is a need for 100 units of feeder bus. From my research, since the launch 2 years ago, the 3 hydrogen buses have been facing many technical issues frequently, besides needing major maintenance services on a regular basis. The technical issues including hydrogen gas leakage, brake problem, fuel cell problem, liquid leakage problem, etc. and etc. Due to these problems, these 3 buses were often grounded and therefore greatly affected the daily operations of the hydrogen buses services. Even SEDC admitted that Sarawak does not have any local expert who specialize in hydrogen technology to carry out major maintenance works. Sarawak Metro will have to fly in the technician from the bus manufacturer, Foshan Feichi Automobile Manufacturer Company Limited in China to fix the problem. The most recent breakdown was just a few months ago, and the manufacturer flew into Kuching in August to carry out the repair. From these facts, it speaks volume on how hydrogen technology is still not viable, unstable and immature. So I would like to call on SEDC or Sarawak Metro through the Minister of Transport to explain in this August House why these problematic hydrogen buses are still adopted for the LRT system. If these hydrogen buses keep breaking down, how are we going to expect the public transport system to be run efficiently? This would definitely affect the number of ridership, resulting in less revenue. The hydrogen buses are not cheap. It is not 1 million, 2 million per bus. I was given to understand it will cost the state, to buy these 100 buses, it will cost the state 400 to 500 million. So on average per bus costs about 4 million to 5 million to get one hydrogen fuel cell bus. It will, such a huge amount of money from our state coffer, if we do not manage them well, it will definitely run down the drain. It will be a total waste. Can't we spend the money more prudently on purchase of novel buses, which require less maintenance and much cheaper for efficient connectivity? The state government should stop showing off in doing projects which are beyond our means to maintain. Like what I have said before, do not wear a hat that is much too big for one's head. It is high time to just go back to the basic, such as simple projects in getting the bus rapid transit in place and improving on the normal bus routes to alleviate the traffic congestion problem in the state. Mr. Speaker, Sarawak government slogan, Sarawak First, is sounding hollow now. To many, it is supposedly to mean think of Sarawak first for every step taken and decision made. Unfortunately, it is just a gimmick to entice the public. Where was the so-called Sarawak First? when YAB Premier is the first to fly to meet Muhyiddin from Bersatu and Hadi Awang from PAS in order to be with Perikatan Nasional to form the next federal government. And now, where is the Sarawak first? When even issue like cement shortage is not solved.
One of order. 22. We are not here to talk about politics. Elections are over. This is an August House, and this is irrelevant. Please make on this.
Mr. Speaker, I think this honourable member from Kota Sentosa has not learned, despite being in this house for, I don't know, this is our second sitting or third sitting. He still doesn't know that to debate on supply bill, you can debate on anything under the sun. And Maradon has just now spoken about DAP. That is politics, and you, Speaker, allowed that. So what is wrong for me to just raise my concern and my view? All right, I will carry on. So apparently he is still considered newbie. So learn, okay? Learn, please learn. And now, where is Sarawak first? When even issue like cement shortage is not solved but left hanging there, the two words Sarawak first is now a mockery for Sarawakians. The Sarawak government should step in immediately to resolve the serious issue of shortage of cement supply in Sarawak, which has badly affected the construction industry across the state. This is not only affects the private sector but also progress of works of many government projects. This is a serious issue and warrant urgent measures from the state government to fix it. For decades, the sole cement supplier and manufacturer in Sarawak has been Cahaya Mata Sarawak Berhad. Despite CMSB monopolizing the cement market in Sarawak for many years, the problem of cement shortage keeps occurring and never seems to be fully resolved. This is totally unacceptable, and the Sarawak state government should not close its eyes to the problem. An immediate solution is needed. One of the ways to solve it is for the Sarawak state government to remove the monopoly market and practice free market economies by letting other manufacturers and suppliers to kick in the cement supply market, so that the cement supply could be normalized and the price of cement stay competitive. It is due to the lack of healthy market competition which creates such a situation we are facing at the moment. Not only is there insufficient cement supply, but the cement price is more expensive compared to other nearby regions. In the past, even if CMSB gave assurance that the price of cement in Sarawak will not increase, it increased anyhow. If the shortage of cement supply continues, coupled with the rising prices of building materials, this will definitely dent the construction industry. I would like to call on YAB Premier to address this cement shortage issue during his winding up speech. The people would like to know what are the steps going to take by the Sarawak state government to tackle this cement shortage problem. Mr. Speaker, it is unthinkable that our State Secretary and the State Immigration Office cannot see it fit to grant 6 of our previously stateless children in Sarawak the care status in their IC when the Home Minister had already granted them the Malaysian citizenship. The latter care is to indicate that they are Sarawakian and they are entitled to stay and work in Sarawak without any prohibition. In August 2021, there were 3 of these cases who did not have the care in the identity card issued to them by Jabatan Pendaftaran Negara. The parents of these 3 children from Cebu were informed by Jabatan Pendaftaran Negara that their children could not be eligible for the latter care because the identity of their biological parents was not known and therefore they have no Sarawak connection. On 20th August 2021, my colleague in Cebu had returned to the State Secretary to appeal for the latter care to be inserted into the IC of these successful citizenship applicants on the ground that they should rightly be recognized as Sarawakians, as they were born in Sarawak and legally adopted by Sarawakian parents. There was no response to the letter. In July this year, the matter was brought up again with Sibu Jabatan Pendaftaran Negara. Applications were then met by these 3 children for the care to be inserted into their IC and were forwarded by JPN to the Sarawak Immigration Department for the application to be approved. Again, there was no response. Since July 2022, another 3 of our successful applicants informed that the IC which was issued to them pursuant to them being granted the citizenship by Kementerian Dalam Negeri again did not contain the letter K. All of 6 of these children were granted the citizenship under Article 15A of the Federal Constitution and were legally adopted by Sarawakian parents who will make the citizenship application on their behalf. The refusal to grant the letter K to these children based on the ground that they had no Sarawak connection is wrong in law. As all these 6 children were legally adopted by Sarawakian parents, the issue of the Sarawak connection must have already been established as required in law and accepted by the district office when they process the adoption papers. Hence, no further consideration should even be raised when these Article 15A successful applicants went to JPN to apply for the issuance of their IC. Based on the fact that the children's adoption was legal, the letter K should have been inserted into their IC without any question. Besides being legally wrong, the refusal to insert the letter K in their identity cards do not make sense. These children were born here in Sarawak and due to being stateless have never been travelled out of Sarawak to other states in Malaysia. A lot of them have come from impoverished background and do not have the sufficient financial means to travel in and out of Sarawak in every 3 months in order to comply with Sarawak immigration law for non-Sarawakians. It is therefore highly distressing to the family of these children that after years of mental and emotional suffering, to have a child who was stateless and after being finally granted the Malaysian citizenship, the children should now be denied of being a Sarawakian by our own state authorities. From being stateless and not allowed to even travel out of their hometown to being a West Malaysian who needs to leave Sarawak in every 3 months to get the visa so that they can continue to live with their family in Sarawak. This matter needs to be put right immediately, and the State Secretary and the Immigration Office need to recognize the adoption status of these children as the conclusive evidence that their Sarawak connection has been established. Grant them the letter K in their identity card now so that they would not end up as non-Sarawakian for the rest of their life, while the rest of their family members are. Mr. Speaker, Sarawak is in dire need of foreign workers, which unfortunately it is the government themselves that is making it difficult for companies to hire foreign workers. From construction to oil palm, big or small projects, they appear to suffer from labour shortage everywhere. Due to this shortage, work completion, even small ones, are delayed. What more to say huge projects? Even though the Sarawak government relies so much on development projects to boost the state economy, there seems to be no solution or any interest from them to deal with this shortage of foreign labour force that has been ongoing for years. Most industry in the state hire foreign workers from Indonesia, India, China, Philippines, Pakistan, Cambodia, Thailand, and etc. From my feedback received, the industry players are having a difficult time in getting workers pass and permits, as it takes at least 5 to 6 months to have the permit approved from the date of submission of applications. The tedious application often causes a lot of stress, time-consuming, and loss of workers who cannot afford to wait for Sarawak authority to use agents to approve their working pass. Let me briefly explain in this August House. There are 2 types of permit. One is for foreign workers, and the other type is for expatriate. One of them is approved permit, which is applied through SOCSO and need to go through immigration but subject to the State Secretary approval. Imagine a foreign worker have to wait for 5 to 6 months to apply for the working permit to enter Sarawak. Many of these foreign workers are unable to wait for such a long period without a job. That is why so many workers fail to enter Sarawak eventually, even though their permits were still in process by the authority. They have to switch to other countries to work. I was told that a lot of bureaucracy is involved in applying for the worker permits, even though Sarawak is in urgent need of foreign workers. I would like to call on SOCSO, Immigration and State Secretary Office to simplify the permit application process. After all, the state economic growth relies on these SMEs and big companies.
Yang Muhammad, you have less
Allow
than 2
me-
minutes.
Please give me some injury time because I was interrupted by Kota Sentosa.
I'll give you extra 1 minute after that.
Okay, allow me to tell this August House how tedious it is to apply this permit, to have the permit approved, to apply and have the permit approved. For every application of permit for foreign labor, the employer has to start the application with the SOCSO office. Following that, he needs to advertise in the local RTM, local Chinese and English paper, and then wait physically at the SOCSO office for job seeker to come for interview on a specific date fixed by the SOCSO office. If no local applicant comes for an interview, that means the local employer cannot get any local workers to fill the post. Then he have to move to next step, that is to write to the Labour Department to inform that no local workers are interested to take up the job, despite efforts made to engage them. After that, the employer is required to submit through online the application together with all the required documents. That alone is not sufficient. The employer will need to also submit another time the hard copy of all the required documents physically to the relevant labour office, depending on where the project site or plantation are located. Let's say if the project site is in Kapit, then the employer or through its agent will need to travel all the way to Kapit labour office to submit physically the documents which has already submitted online.
Conclude.
The funny thing is,
You can
labour
conclude.
office will not accept documents sent. Let me finish this subject, then that's it. Thank you, Speaker. The funny thing is, Labour Office will not accept documents sent by courier. They insist that the document must be sent in by hand. This is just so ridiculous. The state government can say SOCSO is a federal agency, but the problem is happening in Sarawak. Why make such ridiculous demand? Work it out with the federal agency to prevent unnecessary hassle to the employers or agent. Besides submitting the application, the employer also required to buy insurance, submit medical reports for each of the foreign workers they intend to hire. For every application, the employer or its agent will need to make at least 2 trips to the Labour Department or Labour Office, and by the time when they get the license from the Labour Department, it will be 5 or 6 months later. The cycle continues. After you get the licenses issued by the Labour Department, the next stop is to go to Immigration Department. The Immigration Department usually will take around 2 weeks to vet the licenses issued by the Labour Office. So you must all be tired from hearing the long and tedious application for permits, right?
You can
The
conclude.
end, only 2 paragraphs. The end is far from over. The thing is, when applying for Labour Department, the minimum age for workers is between 20 to 50. The strange thing is when you submit your application to immigration, the minimum age is 27. Even the minimum age is not tally between the 2 departments. What's going on? So I raise the issue. I hope that the SOCSO, Labour Department, Immigration, as well as the State Secretary can look into it to come up with a simplified process so that the employer, the industry can get foreign worker.
Thank you. Yang Muhammad Pening. Thank you. Next I call YB Repok, please.
Salam sejahtera dan salam Sarawakku sayang. Terima kasih Dato' Speaker kerana memberi peluang kepada saya untuk turut serta membahaskan unsur rang undang-undang perbekalan 2023 dan 2022 dan unsur untuk merujuk resolusi anggaran pembelanjaan pembangunan bagi tahun 2023 sebenar masyarakat Ketiga bagi pangkat pertama Dewan Undangan Negeri Sarawak ke-19 di Dewan yang mulia ini. Dato' Speaker, pertama sekali saya ingin merakamkan setinggi-tinggi ucapan tahniah kepada GPS, khususnya kepada Premier yang amat berhormat Dato' Petinggi Tan Sri Dr. Abang Haji Abdul Rahman Johari Pintung Dato' Abang Haji Open Kerana atas kepimpinan yang amat berhormat merajui GPS pada PRU 15, GPS telah mencapai kemenangan berkaya pada kali ini dengan memenangi 23 kursi. Tidak cukup dengan itu, GPS juga telah berjaya merampas beberapa kursi yang sebelum ini bolehlah dikatakan sebagai kubu kuat pihak pembangkang, namun di bawah kepimpinan yang amat berhormat Premier. Semua telah bekerja keras. Ini jelas membuktikan GPS work the talk. Dan saya percaya ini telah meyakinkan rakyat yang kita ini ikhlas dan bersungguh. Kita sangat bertuah kerana mempunyai yang amat berhormat Premier yang sangat berwibawa, berpandang jauh dan mengutamakan Sarawak dengan slogan Sarawak First. Sesungguhnya kemenangan GPS pada kali ini adalah sangat penting supaya suara rakyat Sarawak di Parlimen lebih jelas dan kuat dalam usaha kita memperjuangkan hak-hak Sarawak seperti termaktub dalam perjanjian Malaysia 1963 Sabah dan Tahniah GPS. Di sini saya juga ingin mengambil kesempatan ini untuk mengucapkan Sabah dan Tahniah kepada yang amat berhormat Premier atas perbentangan bajet pembangunan Sarawak 2023. Kerajaan Sarawak dijangka akan mencana lebihan sebanyak ringgit Malaysia 238 juta, iaitu 2,2% daripada belanjawan negeri. Kita sekali lagi menunjukkan yang kerajaan Sarawak tidak muflid, malah bertambah kaya di bawah kepimpinan GPS. Belanjawan 2023 juga memperuntukkan hampir 63% untuk membiayai pelaksanaan berbagai program dan projek pembangunan ini selaras dan misi dan visi yang amat berhormat Premier untuk membangunkan Sarawak. Datuk Speaker serta ahli Dewan yang saya hormati, misi dan visi yang amat berhormat Premier akan mampu kita capai. Ini bukan cakap-cakap kosong. Kita boleh lihat sendiri, semuanya perancangan dan strategik telah digariskan dalam inisiatif PCTS 2030. Cukup bersifat inklusif dan begitu terancang. Tidak ada yang ketinggalan. Ini adalah selaras dengan cita-cita muni GPS menjadikan Sarawak negeri maju menjalan 2030. Saya yakin GPS boleh. Melalui 4 empangan hidro di Sarawak, Sarawak berupaya menyediakan banyak tenaga dengan tarif elektrik yang kompetitif sebagai tarikan kepada pelabur. Melalui inisiatif yang amat berhormat Premier, Sarawak sekarang mampu menghasilkan lebih banyak tenaga melalui hidrogen dan solar terapung. Di bawah kepimpinan yang amat berhormat Premier, kita telah berjaya menarik pelabur yang berlabur dalam kilang di Sarawak untuk menyerap korban karbon kerana Sarawak sedang memulakan strategik penangkapan dan penggunaan karbon, CCU dan penyimpanan. GPS bersedia untuk mencana hasil melalui tanah kedaulatan yang akan diluluskan. Segala perolehan, pendapatan dan hasil dikongsikan bersama serta diakhir-akhirkan kepada rakyat melalui penyediaan berbagai kemudahan, malah juga melalui berbagai inisiatif bantuan, melalui program bantuan khas Sarawak Sayang PKSS versi 9.0 sebanyak ringgit Malaysia 6.7 bilion. Rakyat amat berterima kasih untuk bantuan ini. Oleh yang demikian, ahli-ahli yang berhormat semua, sekali lagi saya menyuruh di sini, marilah kita semua berdiri teguh di belakang yang amat berhormat Premier Apanjo dalam usaha kerajaan GPS Sarawak untuk mencapai visi dan misi kerajaan Sarawak. Datuk Speaker, Sekarang izinkan saya untuk mengemukakan beberapa isu yang memerlukan perhatian Dewan Yang Mulia ini, lebih-lebih lagi yang melibat kawasan saya di N45 report. Harapan saya isu-isu yang bakal saya utarakan nanti akan mendapat perhatian dan pertimbangan dari Dewan, lebih-lebih lagi daripada kementerian dan agensi yang berkaitan. Rumah mampu milih. Datuk Speaker, kerap kali kita mendengar rintihan dan keluhan rakyat khususnya golongan P40 dan N40 berkenaan dengan harga rumah yang terlalu tinggi dan tidak mampu dimiliki oleh golongan tersebut. Rintihan dan keluhan ini semakin kuat kedengaran, keutamanya semasa kempen PRU 15 yang baru berakhir. Di Sarike tidak terkecuali dan ramai yang mengharapkan agar kerajaan GPS dapat membantu mengatasi dengan penyediaan skim perumahan mampu milih seperti juga di tempat-tempat lain di Sarawak. Oleh itu saya sekali lagi memohon kepada pihak kementerian untuk membina lebih banyak rumah kos renta dan sederhana di kawasan saya, seperti juga projek skim rumah mampu milih yang telah dilancarkan di pantai lain. Saya mencadangkan agar kemudahan seumpama itu dipanjangkan juga di kawasan repot. Tempat letak kereta di Poliklinik Sarike. Saya telah menyampaikan isu ini pada persidangan bulan Mei yang lalu. Saya banyak menerima aduan tentang masalah letak kereta di Poliklinik Sarike. Terlalu sesak letak kereta di tepi jalan. Terpaksa berjalan jauh. Saya berharap kawasan di sekitar Hospital Lama Sarike dapat dibuka dan seterusnya dinaik taraf untuk menampung lebih banyak ruang tempat letak kereta. Memandangkan kawasan ini telah lama terbiar. Sekiranya cadangan saya ini dapat direalisasikan, saya yakin isu kesesakan seperti yang saya bangkitkan di atas akan dapat diatasi. Kompleks sukan dan kolam renang Sarike. Kompleks sukan dan kolam renang Sarike telah usang dan memerlukan perhatian segala untuk memperbaiki kedua-dua kemudahan tersebut. Kompleks sukan Sarike adalah satu-satunya tempat bersukan untuk murid-murid sekolah. Sarike telah menghasilkan ramai asli sukan untuk sukma. Antaranya ramai yang telah berjaya merangkuk peringkat di kejohanan sukma yang baru berlalu. Saya amat berharap lebih ramai lagi generasi muda bergiat aktif dalam bidang sukan. Kita mempunyai ramai potensi, tetapi fasiliti sukan hendaklah dinaik taraf. Adalah menjadi tanggungjawab kita untuk menyediakan fasiliti yang baik. Di sini saya merayu kepada kementerian yang terlibat untuk mengambil tindakan segera dan sewajarnya ke atas kedua-dua fasiliti ini. Jalan alternatif Jalan Nyalong Bypass ke Koming Mina. Datuk Speaker, seterusnya saya ingin menarik perhatian tentang kesesakan serius dari Jalan Nyalong Bypass ke Persidangan Bulat. Laluan ini bukan sahaja merupakan jalan keluar masuk utama ke Pantai Sarike. Ia juga mempunyai 4 sekolah harian dan beberapa kawasan perumahan. Bayangkanlah kesesakan di sepanjang jalan tersebut. Semasa waktu puncak, keadaan akan menjadi lebih serius apabila siapnya jalan Pempona dan jalan Pasir Tanya Manis nanti. Kadar penggunaan jalan ini akan berlipat kali ganda dengan bertambahan bilangan kenderaan berat yang akan melalui jalan ini. Oleh yang demikian, mengulangi permohonan saya pada masyarakat yang lepas, saya memohon Dewan Yang Mulia ini akan dapat dipertimbangkan untuk membina sebuah lagi jalan alternatif, iaitu jalur bypass ke Jalan Koming Mina Link Road sepanjang 2 km saja. Naik taraf jalan yellow bypass, Dato' Speaker, untuk maklum projek ini telah diluluskan di bawah projek rakyat, namun demikian projek ini masih belum dimulakan. Jalan raya berkanta 4 lorong akan dapat mengatasi masalah peningkatkan aliran lalu lintas, terutamanya pada waktu puncak. Jadilah saya memohon untuk projek ini dimulakan segera kerana penggunaan jalan tersebut semakin hari semakin bertambah. Tebingan Sungai Rejang. Dato' Speaker, tebingan Sungai Rejang adalah merupakan salah satu tempat rekreasi dan reda yang popular di Sarike. Tebingan ini juga merupakan lokasi utama untuk pesta sukan air dan berpotensi sebagai tarikan pelancongan dalam dan luar negara. Mercu tanda bersejarah iaitu Menara Jam yang merupakan monumen sebagai simbol Sarike telah diangkat status kepada bahagian ke-6 pada tahun 1973. Replika Puan Nenas Kekasih sebagai ikon Sarike dan juga faktor-faktor lain yang ada di situ yang boleh diangkat sebagai faktor menarik untuk sektor pelancongan. Malah beberapa hari lepas, Menara Jam menjadi fokus kepada program Emerging Race dari Itali. Satu pepetahan pelancongan di peringkat antara bangsa yang cukup memperangsangkan. Malahnya keadaan tebingan ini sudah agak berusia dan ada bahagian yang susah rosak. Sangat memerlukan kerja menaik taraf. Saya mewakili suara rakyat di Sarike memohon untuk projek ini diluluskan. Dato' Speaker, di Sarike pembinaan jalan ladang. Dato' Speaker, di Sarike berkebun dan petani masih banyak mengusahakan kebun-kebun mereka secara kecil-kecilan dan secara konvensional. Di samping itu, kebanyakan ladang dan kebun masih belum dapat dihubungi dengan jalan yang membolehkan akses lori ataupun kenderaan lain untuk mengangkut hasil pertanian mereka ke bandar. Oleh itu, saya memohon kepada kerajaan untuk membina jalan-jalan kebun dan ladang untuk memudahkan para petani mengangkut hasil pertanian dan seterusnya meningkatkan pendapatan para petani dan pekebun. Kita adalah sebuah keluarga. Jika keuangan sebuah keluarga kukuh, maka lebih banyak keperluan dapat disediakan untuk anak-anak. Begitu juga kedudukan Sarawak. Marilah kita bersama-sama merealisasikan impian Sarawak maju. Kemakmuran dan kesejahteraan rakyat Sarawak adalah keutamaan kita. Segala apa yang kita telah capai dan kecapi selama ini adalah bukti kesungguhan dan kerja kuat wakil-wakil rakyat GPS di bawah kepimpinan yang amat berhormat Premier Abanjo. Dengan sepenuh hati dan dengan sukacita, saya menyokong rang undang-undang perbekalan 2023-2022 dan unsur untuk merujuk resolusi anggaran perbelanjaan pembangunan bagi tahun 2023. Sebelum saya mengundur diri, saya mengambil kesempatan ini di sini mengucapkan selamat Hari Krismas kepada semua yang akan menyambutnya pada bulan depan dan selamat Tahun Baru 2023 yang akan menyusul selepas itu. Jaga Sarawak, into Sarawak. Sekian, terima kasih.
Terima kasih Yang Berhormat Repok. Since there are no other speakers from among Yang Berhormat this afternoon, ahli-ahli Yang Berhormat, the sitting is now adjourned and the House shall resume its sitting at 9 a.m. tomorrow.
Tuh, jangan pulang.